See, and then I liked GoldenEye, but I have to admit, I loved the one that came after it. The World Is Not Enough. On the N64. That one was really
with
fun.
the multiplayer.
Yeah.
Specifically, yeah. Only because it had the grappling hook.
Yep. Well, that was Nightfire.
That's Nightfire.
Is that Nightfire?
Yeah. But
that was my favorite.
So that Nightfire, that one was a lot of fun.
You could
But the World Is Not Enough is the first time they introduced computers in multiplayer, so you could have two computers versing you.
Oh.
Because you couldn't have that in GoldenEye.
That's right, you couldn't. In GoldenEye, once you earn Odd Job, you just automatically assume that he's going to win.
Just because he's so short and your stupid auto aim wouldn't work with him.
And then in Nightfire, he had this hat that you just throw at people.
Yeah, Danny kept choosing him.
Well, there was another... in Nightfire, there was actually a couple of short characters that you could be. It wasn't just him. You could actually choose a few of them.
Oh, really?
I liked being the shark guy.
Jaws,
yeah.
The shark guy.
The shark guy.
That's the only thing I could think of for some odd reason.
The shark guy. Hey, should we get started?
Okay.
Hey, you can play local multiplayer. I don't think you can play.
So you have it's just on one console.
Yeah.
Hey, speaking of which, you guys need to come over. We need to do a big Halo party.
We need to LAN it up.
Yeah.
Man, LANs have.
I have enough TVs and internet to be able to handle everything.
Let's be honest, I could bring a TV because I live down the street.
Well, I mean,
Jake's got plenty.
I have plenty of TVs, and I also I even have a portable monitor that I set up on a kind of a pole like this that I can just take wherever I want and just plug it in and just use it. So.
And you got your office that's finished downstairs.
I do, and I can play Halo on my really nice computer. I am not a tech nerd. I'm not going to be building a computer as soon as I graduate with my master's degree.
Josh is doing the hang loose thing.
Hang loose, man.
Hey, let's get going. Welcome, everyone, to Twaddling Along. We're excited to have you here. I went for my NPR voice real quick. We're excited to have you here.
Thank you.
Twaddling Along.
You have reached Twaddling Along.
Twaddling Along. No, we really are excited. This is our third week, which means it's the human condition. And it was my choice, and I thought of something fun. But before we get going, let's introduce ourselves. I'm Dan McBride.
Hi, Dan.
And here are my co-hosts and brothers, Jacob.
Many people are well educated.
And Joshua.
You didn't let me finish my quote.
I'm sorry, keep going.
But not many people are well mannered.
I see.
Some people are dumb and some people are smart.
Who was your quote by Josh?
Dumb people.
Dumb people.
Meaning Joshua McBride.
Dumb people. Who is your quote by Jake?
I don't know, Pinterest.
Oh. All right.
Some random
I thought there was going to be some deep like Ben Franklin or something.
I'm pretty sure. I probably should find that out so I can actually, quote the thing.
No, it's a soccer mom.
And why are we talking about that kind of quote, Jake? It's because I chose to talk about manners, etiquette, and social norms this week.
Wow.
Manners, etiquettes, and social norms. And you know why? Because when I was picking this thing, I happened to be on YouTube Shorts, and there's this one British dude, and I don't know what his name is, but his whole channel is just about like how to properly eat a banana.
Wow.
With like the social etiquette of the English royalty.
Can I ask one question to start?
Sure.
What the heck are P's and Q's?
Like minding your P's and Q's?
Yeah. Our mom would always say to us, make sure you mind your P's and Q's when we'd go somewhere.
I don't know.
I felt like it related to
You know
this
what's
topic.
funny? I think that me and my wife were literally just talking about this not too long ago, and I've already forgot. Sorry, honey.
It's just an idiom.
So there's no meaning?
It's just, it looks, at least from what I'm seeing, I'm sure that there's, here, what does the P and Q stand for?
Your pints and quarts. In old pubs, bartenders would keep track of drinks using P for pints and Q's for quarts.
So our mom was telling us to drink.
Our mom was saying, don't drink too much.
Well, we have a habit of spilling our drink, which is usually water or very fine Coke.
See, what I thought it was, and this I'm now remembering this conversation, is I actually thought it was when you write a lowercase p and a lowercase q,
Oh,
Just
they're
like
the
a
same.
D and a B, if you switch sides, so you're supposed to mind those. And I think that was like for typists, like people that were like putting together the letter blocks for newspapers.
Interesting.
But that is etiquette and manners is really what it means.
Yes.
It's you're trying to be more manner friendly.
Here's another one. Some people think it also is shortened for please and thank you.
Thankyou. Oh, whoa.
I know that
just
opens
blew
up
my
a
mind.
whole
Our
new reality.
next podcast or our next paranormal podcast. Q.
Q,
Why
as in
does
from
it
Star
say-
Trek.
No.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank Q. Who's Q? Da-da-da.
Wait, did you say from Star Trek?
Yeah.
The Q that I remember is from James Bond. No, Batman.
No, 007. You're right.
007.
It's James Bond. Batman has Alfred, Joshua.
That's right.
But Q, you don't know the Q from Star Trek? The omniscient being?
I wasn't huge Star Trekky. I was a Star Warsy.
Well, then you wouldn't know Q.
True.
Q is awesome.
You wouldn't know how to mind your P's
Now,
and Q's.
Q in
Did he have-
007 was just a shortened way to say quartermaster, which
wow.
is the person who's in charge of weapons. I know this because I read the books.
Was Q in Star Trek good at manners?
No.
That was the
He
worst
was-
segue.
That was a good segue. No, I think it was excellent. Let's talk about manners for a second. I want to talk just about etiquette in general and why that it even exists. And then we're going to get into some fun stuff, I think.
Etiquette.
Why do you guys think etiquette exists?
Because people are weird. I
Because-
think people want to be in control. And so they created these etiquette laws to be in control.
Because there was one caveman sitting there next to his other caveman buddy who was chewing with his mouth open and went, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to kill you unless you stop. And manners became a thing.
I'm going to bash you over the head if you don't shut
And
up.
then that same
even to
caveman-
this day, I still feel that way as that caveman.
The same caveman put his elbow on the stone table.
And that was it.
That was
He's
it.
like,
And
that's it.
It tipped over because it was only sitting on a small
dare
rock.
you? So it would. There's a lot of different theories as to why you have manners, why you have etiquette, why you have politeness and polite society in general. One of the most popular ones is actually by Charles Darwin himself. And
He was polite.
he he actually noticed that babies and blind people, when they felt disgust or shame, would have the exact same facial features as a person that was seeing or older. And then he thought, well, if that's the case, that means that disgust and shame are universal, that they exist evolutionarily. And that must mean that if this disgust and shame exists, that means that there should have been social order all throughout evolution.
So here's my question. It must have happened after our chimpanzee age because they still throw poop at each other.
You say that,
But they do have a social hierarchy.
but they do have a social hierarchy, and it's based off of norms.
Yeah.
So, one of the very popular ones that you'll hear all the time is never smile at a monkey because it's a sign of aggression.
Sorry, Jake. I just smiled at you. I didn't mean that.
Jerk, you aggressive,
Just
stupid jerk,
Smiling you.
fling feces at you.
So never smile at a monkey.
So never smile at a monkey. And the reality is that's just kind of a example of a social norm that it goes to show that we are group animals and we like to have kind of the same machinations and mechanisms in place that we can recognize.
Machination, I like
Machinations. That was a big word.
that. That was a good word.
Twaddling
Thank you.
Along is brought to you by the word mechanization.
Not mechanization.
Oh.
That's
Whatever Danny
the
said
creation
earlier.
of
the creation of machines. We look forward to our AI overlords.
There you go.
we praise them.
Just remember us when the time comes, oh AI overlord.
Chat GBT
Put me on a farm somewhere.
calling you out.
No, their group living is really
Yeah.
what I'm talking about. The idea that we evolved to be in a group and we needed some way to tell if a member was not part of the group. and that the being able to tell the member is not part of the group is them not constraining themselves to like the social norms.
So, because I tooted a lot growing up,
Yes.
was I not part of the social
You were not
norm
part of the social norm.
that our mother set
You
up?
weren't part
were
of
an
polite
outcast.
society, that's for sure.
That's funny.
But there's also, I mean, there's so many, there's literally, as I delved into this, there are so many different theses and hypotheses of why you would have like
Hypothesize.
the hypothesis. Hypothesize.
Well, you know what I'm talking about.
of where it comes from, like sociological perspectives of just saying, well, we needed ritual to kind of bring us together, and ritual just kind of eventually turned over into etiquette. You know, like they talk about, like Josh had mentioned before, about like the placement of the forks and how maybe at one time that was actually more of a religious thing, and that it just eventually kind of melded its way into polite society. It was also a way for us to put ourselves above other members of our group. Like, I guess humans have always kind of vied for position within a group. And so they say that, like, when we're talking about etiquette, people would create etiquette literally to say, well, look, this is what polite society does. You don't do this, so obviously you're not.
King Henry VIII had someone wipe his bottom.
Yes. And it was socially accepted.
Yeah.
Yeah. And here's the other thing that's kind of crazy about that time period is the etiquette and the manners of that time. Bathing was seen as abnormal and society and like socially awkward and socially like reprehensible.
Yeah. He only took a bath like maybe once a month.
Well, only if you were in the high society. If you were like the scrubs, which is what our ancestors were, you know, the farmers
Thugs.
and the people out, you would bathe all the time. You would go out and you'd find a pond, you'd jump in, you'd wash off the dirt because you were working in the dirt. But the bathing of the high society, well, they didn't touch the dirt, so why would they have to bathe? You know,
They smell like crap.
it's all etiquette and everything like that. So we're gonna dive into it.
Yes.
We're gonna
Please
dive
do,
right
'cause
into it.
I want to have a conversation with all these people who set up these etiquettes and just
Okay.
punch them in the throat.
You want to punch them in the throat?
Yes.
Okay, so we're gonna start. I want to start with historical etiquette.
Okay.
And then we're going to talk about international etiquette. We're going to go all the way back to, let's see if I can find it.
10,000 BC.
What are some social norms? Let's see. Sharing cultural norms. Where did it go? Ancient etiquettes. Here we go. This is from Listverse.
List first.
10 ancient etiquette rules you never knew existed.
Ooh, exciting.
Number 1, you don't look directly at the emperor in ancient Rome. No one was allowed to look at the emperor at all. No eye contact.
I would have been killed
And-
accidentally.
And do you know what's really funny is if you apply that to today, the emperor would have thought that everyone was autistic in a way because
Probably.
they have, you know,
Yeah. But I mean, how many times have you heard of like a starlet or like some diva being like, don't look me in the eye? I know that Ellen DeGeneres was like,
you mean Mariah Carey?
yeah, they're like, don't look at me. You're not allowed to look at me. It's like, whoa.
That's when I stare them in the face.
Failure to observe this rule could result in social ostracism and severe consequences, including but not limited to having your eyes plucked out. The practice reinforced
Wow.
the social hierarchy and maintained the emperor's near divine status in the eyes of the people. They say that when people actually went to talk to the emperor, it was required them that they had to bow their head and cast their eyes downward the entire time. So literally, like, the emperor was just surrounded by hunched over people at all times.
Dang.
I think I would have been really good in that society. I would never have gone outside. Therefore, never would have had to deal with that.
There you go. This one comes from medieval Europe. In medieval Europe, religion permeated every aspect of life, including greetings. The most popular greeting that was socially acceptable and it was the etiquette of the time
God be with you.
was the two-finger salute. And it's something that you see a lot in ancient or in medieval Europe paintings, you'll see people with their 2 fingers up. It's a salute,
But not spread.
but not spread like the peace sign
I was going to say, isn't that a swear word in Great Britain?
or the victory sign. Backwards it is.
Oh,
I just did it to you.
well, that's rude.
You guys are flipping each other off.
I
in the wrong
apologize.
language.
By raising 2 fingers, the index and middle finger, individuals affirm their belief in the Holy Trinity, the Father, Son, and the Holy Spirit.
Oh, yeah. Because a
all
lot
of
of Jesus
Christ-
paintings,
yep.
are like that.
So there you go. So
It
during
makes sense.
During the Crusades and the Inquisition, failing to use this gesture appropriately could lead to suspicion, including heresy. So they would actually go and torture you. Pretty bad. So if you just accidentally like raised up your hand, like, "Oh, hey, how you doing?" What are you doing, Jay?
Nothing.
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
We're
Yeah, that'd be funny if you held up like your whole hand and they're like, "There's only 3."
Heathen.
I had a guy in the Philippines
All of your hand-
try to explain to me what each of the fingers meant, and then he just ended up flipping me off, talking about the Father the whole time. So
My kids do that all the time whenever we play Daddy Finger, Daddy Finger. Daddy Finger, Daddy Finger, where are you? Well, when it gets to Brother Finger, which is the middle finger, my toddler is just like straight up flipping me off. I'm like, oh, okay.
And Danny
So
just
brother
did.
finger.
Danny, you looked a little too comfortable doing that.
I don't know what you're talking about. Comes naturally.
good thing we're on a podcast.
Not
That's not recorded videoly.
someday it will be.
Video leak.
Videoly.
The Twaddling Along Podcast is brought to you by the word videoly.
The mechanizations of videoly. Okay, number 8. Never eat with your left hand. This is a pretty common one. Does anybody want to
I'll tell you why.
tell us why, Jake?
Because back then toilet paper was not a thing, so you would wipe
And
with
then
your
that's
left
all
hand.
that we need to know.
So we used to joke: the right hand is the alpha, the left hand is the omega, the beginning
And the end. That's exactly right.
That's
I
funny.
paid really good money in the Philippines to have toilet paper, so I wouldn't have to do
Yeah,
that.
that's still a thing in some places.
In some places,
So
it still
wait
is.
a second. Pause. We were all Boy Scouts of America.
We were, but we're not going to go into it, Josh. I'm not going to tell you if I've ever wiped my butt with my left hand.
Why is that the Scout handshake?
Oh, I know that one. It's actually a military handshake. It's because in the military, you always wanted to keep your right hand at the ready for a weapon.
Oh,
And so you would shake with your left
I'm an
hand.
Eagle Scout, and I didn't know that.
Well,
it isn't that you want to exchange
I didn't
feces?
even know that you had to shake hands with your left hand. I was doing the wrong the whole time. I was doing right hand.
No,
Yeah,
the Scout
so-
handshake?
so and that's actually why you the shake of the right hand is considered a peaceful gesture
Oh.
because you are literally giving up your ability to defend yourself with
But
your
they
right
didn't
hand.
realize I'm left-handed.
So you mean if I want to go to war with everyone, I just need to shake with my left hand?
Exactly.
I like it. I'm gonna start doing that.
Number 7, cover your head indoors. This is with the Ottoman Empire. Now, what's strange is this is
Interesting.
actually a very common thing, but opposite in Western society.
Yeah.
In Western society, when you enter into a room, you're supposed to uncover your head,
Mm-hmm.
but that was not the case in the Ottoman Empire. You covered your head indoors in places of religious and social importance, like mosques or private home. It was rooted in the notions of humility before God and respect within the social hierarchy. The head covering, often a fez or a turban, was a symbol of faith and societal status.
Yeah,
They had a fez?
I
They
went
did
to,
have a fez. Yeah, that's
Oh.
where the fez was invented,
Yeah,
was the
Ottoman.
Ottoman Empire.
Was it really?
Uh-huh.
I learned something new all the time.
I went to several different religions that are known as Eastern religions, but in reality, they're Western religions too, like Islam or Sikhism or stuff like that. And they required you to
Have a-
wear a head. They would
That's
provide
interesting.
something to put on your head.
I'd wear a fez anywhere.
You would wear a fez everywhere.
Oh yeah. I walk inside, just put on a fez.
Do you know what I associate a fez with?
Indiana Jones.
Nope.
That's what I'd do it.
It's the Shriners.
Oh, the Shriner Convention.
Welcome, everybody. Oh, that's the Do-Right family.
I said that was
This is the Shriners
The
Convention.
Shriners Convention.
No, is that not it
It was
either?
43rd annual convention of
There
the
we go,
Shriners.
there you go.
Oh,
Royal
Ray Stevens.
Order.
He's still alive, so he can't roll
Dude,
over in his
he's like
grave yet.
105.
He still sings really good too.
And he still makes his political
He does.
statements
He
all
makes
the time.
a lot of political statements in his songs, which are awesome.
Number 6, bow before speaking. Feudal Japan. obviously this is
That's still
something that is
technically
actually
something
taken
goes on.
care of. Yep.
And my wife has said that the level to which you bow is how
It's very
respect.
respectful. They actually talk specifically that in the samurai classes, they had different and varying degrees of bow that meant like literally dozens and dozens of different things. And so, bowing deeply, but keeping your eyes forward meant something different than bowing deeply and keeping your eyes down, which was different than bowing deeply and keeping your eyes closed. Like there was so many different rules and
I would've
social
been
etiquettes.
confused.
I watch sumo still, and their bowing is very big in that kind of culture.
Number 5, never step on the threshold. This was ancient Egypt. The threshold. The threshold is the entry of the doorway. So you had to step over the threshold. Stepping directly on the threshold when entering someone's home was considered the highest form of disrespect to both the host.
Do you hear that? Josh stepped on the threshold.
Josh
Just tipped over liquids.
I just did like a full-on roundhouse kick and
You just
kicked a Gatorade bottle.
seriously. You were supposed to step over the threshold, which acknowledged the sacredness of the entrance.
Interesting.
Number 4, silence is golden. This is
agree.
Imperial China. And this is actually based really heavily on Confucian principles, which was the silence maintained harmony by acknowledging the proper social order. They go on to talk about how in ancient courts in China, it was not unusual to have complete silence all day.
Oh, wouldn't that be nice?
Like no noise. And if there was a person that disrupted the peace, especially the emperor's
Off with
peace,
their head.
they would be killed. Just
My problem is I'd be in the middle of the night and sneeze.
Me too.
And then they would probably chop my head off.
a very common one even today, but this one actually is one of the most ancient of the etiquettes. Don't show the sole of your foot. So Josh's foot is uncovered at the moment, and he just
That was the most disrespectful thing I've ever seen in my entire life.
it was
Hey, I don't have to worry about that either. I keep my feet covered at all times.
the dirtiest part of the body, which is why that was the case.
Interesting. I don't think so.
Ancient Greece and ancient Aramaic, the left seat was for guests of honor.
Sitting to the left of house.
Yep. It was very significant. The seat to the left of the host was reserved for the guest of honor, considered the most prestigious position. This placement symbolized the host's trust and affection. Once again, the left side was associated with the heart and with the non-weapon
I have
hand.
been inadvertently making my wife the most prestigious and wonderful guest in the entire world.
Oh.
Because
There
she
you go.
sits at my left and sleeps at my left.
Oh, my wife is on the right. You're on the right.
Now, my wife sleeps on the left too. Oh, we're more respectful than you. Oh, no, she sleeps on my right.
I was going to say, not to be super weird.
Well, you want to know what
Julie.
the problem was? Here's the biggest problem. I was thinking to myself, well, I sleep on my stomach and she's on my left hand. That's not how things
That's
work, people.
not quite.
That is not.
Well, Julie, you are my greatest and most glorious guest.
Oh, gross.
Even though you technically own everything that technically is there, so I'm probably your guest on the right side. Oh my gosh! I'm not the most prestigious guest.
Wow.
So, when it comes to manners, I want to break off before we jump into some of the other
Ooh,
things.
are we breaking in the groups?
What are
I'm going to be over here and talk about my things.
Hello, how are you?
Everybody separate into groups. What manners do you guys remember being important in our household?
Josh couldn't say certain words that he wanted to say all the time.
Josh,
Fart.
That was one of them.
Mom, fart. Fart, Mom.
that word was forbidden in our household.
That was,
was-
I still can't say it.
So,
Really?
Yeah, I have a hard time saying it.
do you want me to be honest? I thought that was the F word until I went into middle school.
Until you went into middle school.
Until I was in middle school.
Oh, you were sheltered, kid.
Yeah.
I mean,
So
we,
when people use the other F word, you were just like, no, that's kind of a funny
no,
word.
they're just
we
mispronouncing
weren't
truck.
even able to use the normal English words for, certain bathroom usage.
We
Piss.
used tinkle.
Did you use tinkle?
I
always
remember
just,
tinkle.
I just was stuck with I have to go to the bathroom. I wasn't able to state what type of bathroom I had
Potty.
to use or anything.
We use the word
We did use
potty
potty.
a lot.
But then when I became conscious of myself, I would say I need to go urinate.
Well,
Or,
Josh,
I need to go
Yes,
defecate.
but Josh, that's because you're
weird.
you.
Yeah.
Well,
By
Josh
that
also
point-
wanted to teach our kids how to say flatulence from a very early
That
age.
is true.
So
I'm going to succeed that one of them's first word is going to be
Flatulence. So, what other manners other than the words?
So you don't pass gas in public.
No.
Even amongst family.
Or
You
burp.
don't burp.
You don't burp.
So, and again, like I still, maybe that's why I have stomach problems sometimes is because,
Why I
you
have
just
all
don't
the
do.
problems.
You don't chew gum.
You don't chew gum.
There's no gum chewing.
Do not chew with your mouth open at all.
Ever.
And I am the strongest believer that if you chew with your mouth open, you should probably be executed.
I was thinking you were going to say go back with your
I
eight
was gonna
brethren,
say,
but
I didn't execute it. Caught me by surprise.
I was
Jake
trying to
ruled the
find a good
world,
way out of it, and it just couldn't happen because I hate it so much.
You should
Don't chew with your mouth open.
be killed.
please and thank you.
Please and thank you was really big. How about, do you guys remember being taught very early how to set the dishes up?
I
And
do.
how to set a table?
Now that one I don't follow anymore because I'm really bad. The dish is in
Well,
the
Jake,
dishwasher.
you don't even use a fork.
Do you know what's weird? I do.
Do you really?
And I don't know why, but I still to this day, fork goes on the left and if you've got multiple forks, large fork, small fork, knife goes on the right, but the knife is turned in so the blade is pointed toward the plate, and then you've got the spoon.
Oh. So setting up the plates on the table. Yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant putting the plates in the dishwasher.
Oh no. No, Jake. I don't know if that's manners. Shit.
That's why I was a little confused. I was like, I didn't know we had a particular one. I didn't do it.
No.
So,
I'm
but no,
setting
I
the
still
table.
do that. I still
setting
do.
the table.
Sorry.
I do too. I don't eat at a table. But
Excusing yourself from the table.
that's true.
My kids don't follow that.
Mine don't either. And I'm going to be honest, I'm terrible at it.
I learned to always express sincere gratitude right before you
Sincere
get out.
gratitude.
Thank you, Mom, for the lovely food. Good.
You don't talk about it a lot, but it's actually a very common thing in a lot of religious societies. But saying a prayer, saying grace,
yeah.
or even just saying thank you. I mean, in Japanese culture, it's very, very common that you say thank you before eating. It's very common.
Oh, what is it? Oigashimasu or something like that.
Itadakimasu or something. I don't know. Sorry, Julie.
I say Julie. Julie's going to listen to this
just
and
be
please.
so mad.
I'm going to be in trouble.
The other thing, and I don't know if this was necessarily a manner or if it was just to keep us orderly, but we had assigned seats at the table.
No, yeah, I think that was a big thing. We did.
See, and I'm bad because we have our TV on.
Do
So my kids like looking at the TV, but it's nice because that makes it so I can just have my time by myself.
And that brings up another thing: no technology at the table.
No TV.
I said
at
we
the
couldn't.
table.
We didn't even have the technology to do that back
Yeah.
in the day.
We had Game Boys. Come on.
No, I mean I guess, but are you kidding me? You had to have a really good light for the Game Boy to be able to actually show
is
up.
very
So
true.
Let's see. What other manners?
So we had
No swearing.
we came from and both our mother and father's side, but the majority of our mother's side, our grandmother was very proper.
Yes.
She believed in social etiquette. She believed in, she wanted cloth napkins. She believed in,
She had her china out.
yep. She believed in using utensils properly. So grandma taught me how to eat spaghetti the right way
With the spoon?
with the spoon. I mean, there's a lot of like,
see, I don't know. With my mouth closed.
there's a lot of social etiquette that we kind of, and that wasn't so much on our side. Like when we were growing up, it wasn't, but it was something that I was cognizant of.
The one thing that I remember about our grandma is we used to go to Wendy's a ton with Grandma Minson, and she was always super proper when eating a cheeseburger.
Oh, 100%.
And then she would like dab her side with her napkin.
She would hold the napkin in her hand.
Yep.
Which was something that was,
And then, like I said, how she ate it was just like, you're Queen Victoria. Just like that.
you're Queen Victoria.
Shoot, by their second bite, I was already done with my double cheeseburger. So I mean, but that explains my
So
size.
we grew up with manners that for some people might seem pretty odd. I mean, it's It might be seeming out of the norm. I want to go through a couple of the countries.
Ooh.
And we're going to go international, and we're going to talk about some of the social norms and social etiquettes that might seem weird to us. Then the very first one, in the United Kingdom, children are legally allowed to drink once they turn 5 years old.
Are they really?
They are, as long as it's on private property and their family is there. This is also true for a lot of European countries, specifically
Germany.
Is it like only a
France.
certain amount they're able to drink? Or
No, they can drink as much as their parents.
Heavens,
agree.
Germans drink from like the very early age.
And
They're not drinking. Like,
a lot of times they'll water down the wine, especially in France.
Oh.
They'll water down the wine. And I mean, there's like the health groups are saying don't do this, but it's socially accepted in these countries.
That explains why a lot of them are able to just be bottomless pits and when it comes to drinking. So
Sticking in Europe, in Portugal, the food culture is unique and confusing to the rest of the world because food and food culture, specifically mealtime, is incredibly extended. When you have a meal, a lot of times you are sitting down and you are eating for hours and hours and hours.
I would have a hard time.
yeah, and the thing is,
4, 5 hours.
I know that's also true in Italy. That you have your 5 courses or whatever, but it's in a span of 5 to 6 hours.
Yeah.
My in-laws have Italian background, and that's very, very much how it is. Dinner is a longer period.
Well, and you say that you'd have a hard time with it, but if you think about like our family gatherings, it is not unusual to have food out and available for hours and hours and hours, because a lot of times we're talking and then we're like, oh yeah, we want to continue eating. It's just a little bit more organized than like the European. A lot of times you're sitting at a table and talking.
Specific like amounts of food where like I want to eat just outrageous amounts the whole time.
I think a lot of times it's in courses. So you'll have like in Italy,
salad or
in
soup.
Italy specifically, like you'll have a pasta course, and a lot of times that's separated from your main meat course. And
see, that would just drive me nuts. I'd have my salad, and if I had to wait another hour for my meat meal.
But the thing is that also provides a way that you can actually eat
you
every
digest.
single portion because you have digested everything.
Which is why they're a lot more healthy than we are.
I don't like it.
In the Netherlands,
shout out Dave and Wendy.
Conversations are are quiet and discreet, and so much so that with the Netherlands, it's actually impolite if you can be overheard.
We can't go there.
They value their privacy. Now, once again, I'm going to put a little bit of a preface with this. Just because we're saying this doesn't mean that every person in the Netherlands is going to do that. I mean, there's not drunk children wandering around the United Kingdom. I'm just saying that in their society and their social norms and their etiquette, these are accepted things.
Gotcha.
Jake's going to hate this one.
What's this one?
Shoes are very optional in New Zealand in casual settings. You don't wear shoes inside the house. So when you pop out to go to a store or anything, a lot of times you just keep your shoes off. Kids spend a lot of times barefoot. Teachers in classrooms don't wear shoes while they're in the classroom because it's more comfortable. It is incredibly difficult for people in New Zealand and Australia to come to a place like the United States where that's seen as abnormal. You are barefoot a lot.
I don't know how you were in the Philippines, Jake, but in Canada, that's like a law. I don't think it's a punishable law, but like you take your shoes off before entering somebody's home. And either you have slippers that you slip on that are only used inside, or you have socks.
It's funny because this specifically says, though, no socks.
Yeah.
They are just like
See,
people
now
are
I can't
just
go there now.
barefoot.
I wanted to go to the Hobbit place, but now I don't want to.
I could do that. I could walk barefoot all day.
In Chinese culture, it is considered weird and offensive to use formal or polite language around the people who are closest to you. For example, it would be very strange to say the equivalent of thank you or please to a family member who passed you a dish or when you were asking a dish. The reason is you show your intimacy with others by using brief, informal speech. You do not say please, you do not say thank you if you are family. Now, if you're in like a business setting, or if you're out with other people that you don't know, then you'll say please or thank you, but you won't if you are in a family setting.
And that's something that I learned actually on my mission too. One of my companions, the person that I was teaching with, his grandma lived there, and made us dumplings. And first off, it was an insult if we didn't eat the dumplings. All the
dumplings.
30 dumplings she made for 2 of us that were like baseball size. And it was impolite to say thank you. She would refuse and storm off.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
In most Muslim countries and also in Israel, the official start day of the work week is on Monday. Or not on Monday, on Sunday. It shifted because of the holy day of Friday and the Shabbat.
That makes sense over in that culture.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, that's what all of church services for the church we belong to, as well as others, were on Saturday instead of Sunday.
Okay, here's one. In India, arranged marriage is still the norm, which means that romantic marriage is actually seen as kind of taboo.
Yep.
So that's something, There you go. Josh, yep. Thanks, Josh. In the Netherlands, oh no, we already did that one. Should we do some American ones that are completely normal to us, but are probably like super abnormal to people outside?
Yeah. Let's do it.
You guys ready for this? Number 1, drive-thrus. In every other part of the world, the idea of a drive-thru would be the biggest social faux pas out there. You do not have drive-thrus, and yet for us, it is very common.
So you mean if I accidentally
what?
drive through someone's shop and ask for food, I'm probably not going to get I like them someone else's place.
The French especially are going to be like, "What are you doing? Give me my baguette."
I'm trying to think.
Canada had some.
I think there were some, but now that thinking of it,
and stuff.
I don't think there are a ton of drive-thrus there.
Well,
I mean, the Philippines didn't have really any that I was aware of. I mean, they might have, but I didn't drive, so I mean, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Well, here's something that we don't think about: ATMs. There are ATMs in other parts of the world, but a drive-through ATM would be incredibly weird to someone. Or drive-through banking.
Yeah,
you go into the bank, you do that kind of thing. Okay.
I dealt with that.
Another social norm, and that even is now considered etiquette, is a cool home during the summer. Specifically, an air-conditioned home. In the U.S., it is not a luxury. People just have air conditioning. Mm-hmm. And we're talking even in colder parts of the country, air conditioning is now considered just kind of the norm. That in the rest of the world, having air conditioning in your home is definitely not the norm. And that's something we saw in Scotland. Scottish people, English people, they just didn't have air conditioning. You open the windows.
I mean, a lot
let the breeze in.
I mean, I have in-laws in the Netherlands that's just not a thing either.
Yeah, you don't do it.
So, I mean, the Philippines, it costs so much money to have them running that most people didn't have it. So I just had a fan for the whole time, and if that fan went out,
ooh, I can't even imagine.
You were
Canadians don't need AC.
Canadians don't need AC.
Yep.
None of them.
They're better than AC.
No, because it's negative 40 outside.
They just open the window and have it cool for the rest of the year.
No, they open it up and then it freezes open and then they'll die.
Okay, you ready for this one?
Jeez, Josh.
U.S. portion sizes. Now, I know this sounds weird because you're like, what the heck does this have to do with etiquette? In the United States, the idea of a plentiful plate, a plate that is filled with food, is actually part and built into our manners. We just don't understand in our social norms and our etiquettes. We just don't really think about it. In the rest of the world, they look at our portion sizes and go, "You are absolutely nuts." Like, they really do.
That's because they're wrong.
No wonder you guys are the most obese country in the world, except that I think that we're not anymore.
Do you want me to be honest?
Yes.
One of the most devastating thing that I learned in Canada was before I left, I'd get a $5 pizza from Little Caesars. And it was large. Mm-hmm. It was big. Their large in Canada was like a personal pan pizza.
In a lot of the other places in the world, I've been on a Anthony Bourdain kick, so I've been watching like No Reservations.
May he rest in peace.
I actually just got done with one with the Philippines, and one of the things that they talked about is you have family style eating where you have the dish in the main.
Oh, and
then on the banana leaf.
Yeah, on the banana leaf, and then you have your condiments that surround it, and there's dozens and dozens of different kind of condiments. And instead of having a personalized plate, you would just grab from the middle.
Oh yeah. Do you know how hard it was getting back utensils? Because I learned to just eat with my hands.
Yeah. Yeah. And
because most of the places a lot of places you go to, they don't have utensils.
And so the idea that, the individualized plate, we kind of do a quasi thing in the United States where we have these family meals. You bring out the food, you have serving utensils, but then you have this gigantic plate and you're almost expected to fill it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's wonderful.
And
I will say, the Philippines, they fed you and they fed you well. I mean, despite being I was in some impoverished areas, but when they have guests over, they'll go out of their way to do it. And even when I'm trying to offer them, money to be able to support that, they're like, no. And then they would just offer me too much food.
Which, and once again, watching a lot of travel stuff lately, because obviously I just want to travel around the world. I think that in poor countries, specifically third world countries, that's a kind of a norm. That is social etiquette that is kind of built into their things. The guest, the welcome guest should be treated like a king. Mm-hmm. So,
I just love the simplicity of it. Like they're able to make these meals, which sometimes seems so simple, yet they make it so phenomenally well. And I used to hate it because I used to be like, well, how much do you put in there? Oh, you just smell it. What? Just smell it. You'll know.
Yeah.
I still don't get it.
Well, it's crazy because it's probably been passed down
for a long
generation to generation to generation to generation.
Their adobo plate, like they have thousands of recipes for adobo.
Yeah.
Just because it all changes between family.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Going up back. We need to go back to manners, not food. I'm hungry.
Sticking with the food. Sorry, Jake.
I just made Filipino food earlier. That's why I like it so much.
In the United States, one of our social norms, and it is even in etiquette, and I'll explain why here in a second, is it's totally normal to eat extremely sugary desserts for breakfast. Donuts, pancakes, cereals, Pop-Tarts. In a lot of parts of the world that aren't Western society, that is like, what are you doing? And the reason that it's built into our etiquette is it's crazy how often donuts become part of like a morning routine for like meetings. Like how many times have you guys gone to like an early morning meeting and not had donuts? Like it's just something that you do. You bring donuts or someone brings donuts.
For celebration or something.
Yeah. And like I know that my kids eat cereal sometimes, but you really think about what cereal is. It is just sugar.
See, that's a interesting thing for me. I don't know if that just came because I lived over in the Philippines and that's just not what you did at least I didn't. But coming back, I like pancakes or waffles in the morning. I have a hard time with that. I need something savory. I need something meaty.
Something, I don't actually eat breakfast. It's very unhealthy. I know. But now my wife loves breakfast food, so she'll be like, hey, can we have pancakes for dinner? And for me, that's like, no.
Well, in some parts of the world, in some of the Baltic states, they have cereal, but it's a dessert. Mm-hmm. It is legitimately, we're going to eat it, and then afterwards we're going to have Lucky Charms, and this is the equivalent to ice cream.
It's always fun when you go through the thing, because, there's been times when I've seen cereal, but it's like, cookie.
Oh, yeah, the Cookie Crisps.
Cookie Crisp, you have the waffle.
Waffle, the waffle thing.
I love the waffle.
And then you have Cinnamon Toast Crunch.
Sure. Well,
just so much sugar.
It is so much sugar.
You think actual cereal is like just wheat or something that's cold.
Sure. And it's
porridge.
Do you remember when we used to get the Life cereal and then we just pour a bunch of sugar in it?
And what's crazy to me,
I still do.
And this is something once again, because this is about manners and etiquette, it's kind of, this list only makes sense when we explain it a little bit more. But Josh, you said something that was really interesting. You said that I skip breakfast. I know that's unhealthy.
Yeah.
The reality is that in most parts of the world, breakfast is very small or just completely skipped.
Yeah.
Like it's absolutely normal. Our societal norm to a point of etiquette, meaning that we are to fit into the group, to know and feel included in the group. Breakfast, which is a bowl of cereal, glass of orange juice, eggs, bacon, whatever they showed on the commercials. That's what
eggs,
it
bacon,
is.
and toast.
It's so ingrained in our culture that now when we don't get it, like when a hotel does not serve breakfast,
You don't go to that hotel.
you actually like feel like violated. You're like, well, how dare they? I would like
that's
my
pretty
breakfast. This is bad manners.
Yeah.
I love breakfast, so I would.
You love breakfast.
I love breakfast so much, guys.
I love breakfast.
Twaddling Along, brought to you by Breakfast.
Breakfast.
Breakfast. Okay, ready for this one?
No.
Yep.
American accents. Every American thinks their accent is normal,
That's because ours is.
but
We Utahns have a great accent.
there is no. This is actually written by someone from England. American accents. I mean, everyone thinks their own accent is normal, but I've met Americans who think that they have no accent. Like theirs is the baseline somehow.
I do love it. It's amazing to me how different accents can be in different parts, and how you can tell where someone is by how they talk.
Something that I learned when I got married. I mean, I knew I had a Utah accent, but I didn't realize how thick and like redneck I am
Until you went to New Jersey.
until I met my wife's family. And my wife even calls me out because she was raised by a New Jerseyan and someone who grew up in Logan and Bountiful, which, whatever. But
Not in Utah.
but I am a lot more like almost like hick.
Mountain.
Mountain man.
Hurricane.
We don't talk like
Tooele?
other people do.
Which is funny because only one of our parents is from Utah.
That's true. Dad's
And
deep
he-
South Arizona.
And he doesn't have a Utah accent, but we got the hick.
Yeah, we pick up a little bit of Arizona. Well, so what does this have to do with etiquette and manners? You go down south, and if you have a southern accent, you call people ma'am, you call them sir,
And they call you honey.
and that's the social expectation. You can take that same language and go somewhere else, and it can be offensive.
New York.
Yeah, and it can be an offensive thing.
Sir, excuse me.
And so,
I'm lost in the airport. Well, you should have figured that out before.
and if you think about
That's what I got. Jerks.
if you think about like how crazy it is that like people from the South, like growing up with the idea that you're called sir and ma'am, and then you go to someplace, even out here in the West, where sir and ma'am, we don't use them as much. Like I think that we were kind of raised that you there's a certain respect for your elders, but you don't use like ma'am or sir quite. Like I've never called dad yes sir. Or unless I was joking, like
I think we tend to do it kind of on the sides of yes, sir.
yes sir, or yes ma'am.
Yeah,
Have you
I
ever-
do that to my wife.
Yeah,
Yes, ma'am. It's when I'm trying to be obedient.
yes ma'am.
Usually when I've made a mistake.
So, anyways, going continue. Let's see. The fact that Americans call a main course an entree while most of the other world call an entree refers to an appetizer. That just goes back to our language.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to talk about a couple of social norms.
That's
This
the
is from-
norm.
This is just from a couple forums,
Mm.
and these are they point out kind of
Unfiltered.
the how silly it is that people have it. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. Okay, ready for this? Paying tens of thousands of dollars to bury a corpse in the ground.
That is true. Give me a box.
You think about the etiquette that is surrounding a funeral and how we, and not just even like just the burial part and the coffin part and the graveside part, but you think about what all goes on at a funeral. In our culture, our neck of the woods, we have a family viewing. We have a time for people to come and view the body. Then we have a service that it's done. During that service, we have several people give talks about the people.
Mm-hmm.
We have obituaries. We have so many things. That is not, for us, that's normal. And to think that it wouldn't be normal it almost kind of fills me with, I don't know how to explain it, but like if I think that a person's not doing that for a funeral, it's kind of weird. Like I kind of feel uncomfortable. But the reality is that this is just part of our etiquette. It's the etiquette of how we treat a body.
Yeah, I remember, and this wasn't even taught to me, but I remember feeling growing up when we went to funerals, by how much the family put into the funeral is how much they cared about this individual. When in reality, I know of no single person who was like, I want the most lavish funeral. Most of them say, throw me in the dirt.
Yeah.
Put some dirt on top of
And
me.
yet when they pass away, the majority of the time for this idea of respect, that's what we do. Everything around weddings. The etiquette of a wedding and a reception is crazy. If you think about like flower toss, garter toss, I mean, when you actually think what a garter toss is, that's pretty
It's pretty disgusting if you ask me.
it's a little interesting. A 9-to-5 job.
That is true. I hate that.
A 9-to-5 job.
I have a 7-to-4 job, so
And then there's,
but I hate they don't get paid for lunch because all the people I say 9 to 5, it's like, wait a minute, do you not get paid for lunch? I want to get paid for lunch.
How about blowing out candles on a birthday cake and all of the social etiquettes around what a birthday is? Presents.
Is that a psychology thing or is that a paranormal thing? Ooh.
So do you want to know why? I'll tell you why. Because this one tripped me out really bad because when I was looking at like the social etiquettes and manners, like they go really deeply into like the manners of like the Victorian age and how they've influenced us. You wrote cards and whatever. And I thought, well, maybe that's where blowing out the candles was. It's actually from ancient Greece. And it is a special way to pay tribute and to do a sacrifice to the Greek moon goddess Artemis. So whenever we blow out candles on our birthday cake,
worshiping Artemis.
We are
Artemis for
worshiping
years.
Artemis.
I think that's against our religion.
I'm pretty sure that birthdays are just a celebration and a remembrance of our mother's pain.
It's probably, we don't give her presents.
Yeah.
I get the presents on
Often
behalf
she
of
gives
Mom.
us the presents.
Maybe my butt was slapped, but like I got over it.
Okay, ready? The expectation of tipping, which has gone out of
I say there's not a
say
place
no
I don't
comment.
go where it's like,
No comment.
Yes, no comment from Josh.
don't you love when they have like the 21, 23, and 25%, and then you go to press custom tip and you look up and the person's like
They're like, how dare you?
glaring at you.
What
and
have
you're
you
like,
done?
You deserve 5% because this was silly.
I went to a restaurant. I'm not going to name it. I spent $5. $5. And the tip thing popped up, and the person just looked at me and was like,
Put down a tip.
and it's like
It drives me nuts.
$5.
It absolutely drives me nuts.
Well, I think it's funny when they ask for a tip when all they don't even cook the food or do anything. All they do is just hand it to you.
Yeah.
You wouldn't want to know something that I ran into it was at an airport the last time that I was in Puerto Rico. I was buying something from the airport that has a fully automated cashier system. It doesn't have an on-site
And there was a
cashier.
tip?
And there was a tip.
Oh, you gotta love
And
that.
I was just like, what
gosh.
the heck is this all about?
See, now I get so I go on cruises. Porters at ports who take your luggage, great. That's perfect. I'm going to tip you, but not anyone else.
Okay.
See, in the Philippines, you have people that will, even if you don't ask, do things for you and then demand something, a tip or something. Mm-hmm. And then usually I would give them and it wasn't enough and they'd be so mad. But it was like, you literally just picked up one luggage and then put it down in the same spot.
Well, and what's funny is it's the tipping is one of those things that's incredibly different all throughout the world. The tipping customs for every single country is so out there and out of whack that it's crazy.
Yeah.
I remember we left a tip in Scotland because I wasn't even thinking it wasn't even in Scotland. It was in this little town.
And they're like, why'd you just leave money on the table?
Well, they were so excited. They literally were it wasn't even angry. They were like, you're just giving us money? And I was like, well, yeah, that's what you do. And everybody was just like, okay.
Who's this freaking American?
Okay, you ready for this one? Because this one, I will let you know, is my biggest pet peeve, and I don't understand it. Ties.
Ties?
It has been so built into our social etiquette.
I thought you said
it is good manners to wear a tie and a shirt.
I thought you said something that I was kind of concerned about you religiously for a moment.
that's what I thought too. I thought you said tithe.
Oh, tithes. No, ties.
I hate tithes.
How dare we tithe? No, ties as in like the bow tie or the necktie.
Being one that has to wear one every day, I like it.
But why? Have you ever thought, like, why the heck do you wear that every day?
Because I have a big fat roll underneath my chin. It hides it.
See, that is the opposite for me. When I wear a tie, it accentuates my big fat roll.
Do you button up the top button?
It depends on how fat I am.
I can't. So I just tighten the tie until it looks okay.
Until Josh's face is blue. I like normal ties. I've never been a bow tie fan. And especially when you're at like a formal event and I see a bow tie, I don't know. I have a hard time with that because for me, it's just one of those. It's like that for me has been personified by goofy people. Like goofy people always wear the bow tie.
I'll quote Simpsons.
Nerd. Hey, I wore a bow tie for a long time.
Nerd.
Exactly. It's all coming
there
out.
It goes.
Let's see. The random rule, and this is a brand new one that they were talking about how manners change. Or an etiquette changes, but how about the etiquette of texting?
Is there even etiquette?
See, I don't text when I'm with other people. It's one of those that's more of a private thing.
There is a huge world, especially in the younger generations, of when it's appropriate to text, how long you text, what is required of an answer. How many have you guys ever been offended by K? As in when you're texting someone really big and all of a sudden there's just a K.
Or just an emoji.
Or it's just an emoji
or
or something.
Thumbs up even. Oh.
See, and I'm the worst texter on this planet, so like, sorry.
I like a little bit more formality. Like I'm not super formal, but I like some formality. So when you get K or thumbs up back and nothing else, it's like, okay, what does that mean? Like, do you understand? Are you just saying you understand? Or
I will say this: the one thing I hate about texting is you cannot interpret the emotion of the text.
You can't.
For example, K. Is it K, or is it K?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and for some people that I know,
a lot of nuance.
A lot of times they interpret the text completely wrong, and all of a sudden it blows up. Like, I'll be home soon.
Well, I think that's why emojis have become so popular, because then people feel like the emoji explains their emotion, but half the time it's like that doesn't even get close.
Yeah, and some emojis
do you want to know my biggest pet peeve? The incorrect use of ... The
ellipses?
Yes.
I do it all the time. I apologize.
It's not like it's fine using it, but use it correctly. Because a lot of people think that you're just using it as a pause when it's like a blatant pause of disrespect.
Yeah.
And for a lot of people.
Oh, I disrespect you.
And
all
it's
the time.
like, or it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, ... I'm not sure about that. When it's like, where did that come from?
Yeah.
Sure.
Now I know Danny doesn't like this when I do it, but I put like 20 exclamation marks.
You are an over exclamator.
And so mine is not just woohoo, it's woohoo!
Yeah, I was going to say.
I asked Josh to babysit my kids, and the answer was, yeah! And they're like, I don't know if you want to be that happy about this.
Of course, man.
Okay, here we're going to end on this one because I think it's really interesting.
Oh, no.
And then we'll go into some final thoughts. If someone asks how you're doing, if any answer is different than good, it's immediately socially awkward. So the idea of asking how someone is doing is nothing more than a hi.
You know, sometimes I get in a very in a mood. And so when they do ask me, I'm like, it's horrible.
Yeah.
And then I stare at them, and then they just walk away. And
I mean, it is. It's immediately socially awkward.
That was my whole objective.
If you were a chimpanzee, they'd throw poop at you.
Yep. They're like, how's my day?
I'll show you.
You piece of...
When it comes to manners and etiquette, I think it's just super interesting that, all these rules that we put into place for ourselves from saying how are you to giving out birthday cards to how we set the plate on table. It's all just made up. It's literally just made up just so that we can kind of belong to a group. And when you break these societal norms, when you break the etiquette, when you don't do things correct, society hates you. Like, just straight up does not like you. And I think that's silly. And that's my final thought. What are your guys' final thought? Josh, what's your final thought?
I just thought of one that makes me mad.
That's good.
There is a unwritten rule. You could say it's a
Etiquette or societal?
etiquette that in basketball, if you're kicking butt, you stop playing the game towards the end of the game.
Oh, like you put in your second string or third string, or
That, or you just delay time.
you can't beat them.
You can't shoot the ball if you're ahead 30 points. I say bull crap, shape up, play the game like a man. So go and get it done.
Slaughter, tear down their morale, do everything you can.
Hey, they signed up for it.
Drive their widows from in front of me.
That's one of my biggest pet peeves is when people are like, you can't shoot the ball.
That's a good one, Josh.
And so, yeah, that's down with the NBA.
Jake, final words. Down with the NBA. Jake, final words from you.
The problem with this topic is I discover how much people annoy me. So, because there's a lot of this stuff that you look at and I'm just like, yeah, that ticks me off. Yeah, that really bugs me. Yeah, stop chewing with your mouth open. For heck's sake.
Jake, all this has done is Jake's confirmed all of his biases. He's like, that's right. Society should shut that down.
It's the reason I don't leave my house.
Jake, I started taking pills for that, and it's helped me.
It's not anxiety.
No, it is.
It's just
People being stupid.
It's just straight up rage.
It's people not obeying the stinking order of reality here. And by that, I mean, honestly, it's really fascinating because there are things like you're like, oh, that really bugs me. And then you're like, but why does that bug me?
Why does that bug me?
Why is that interesting? Why is the making me go, I'm going to kill you.
Why am I correcting my 4-year-old daughter who's just trying to do the best she can in where to put the fork on the table? Why?
Oh, Danny.
I know.
Why am I telling my son to stop talking back to me?
Why do people get mad when I don't put the heel of the sock on my heel?
Oh, because that drives me nuts. Because in
my point is proven.
In my mind, it's like you are walking around with a level of discomfort and you can fix it so easily and you're not, so you're stupid.
Why does someone get mad when I wear blue socks with my black slacks?
Amen. Why can't I wear white socks on Sunday?
Speaking of, people destroying us, if you wore the wrong colored socks to church on Sunday, our mother would make a noise. That would sound like
I would try to sit away from her at church and not put my leg up because I knew that I was wearing the wrong colored sock.
Well, and men don't have the color cones that women have. So like half the time I couldn't tell a difference.
And so it was always funny.
So
for
in other
me,
words, Mom, you were making fun of a bunch of disabled people. How does that make you feel?
No,
definitely not, just clueless and not thinking and just grabbing or stealing socks from Dad's drawer.
Yeah, it's exactly what it was. When we stole the socks, the lights were off. So it wasn't
we were sneaking around.
Because we had forgotten to put our socks in the dirty clothes. That's what was the problem.
And that was the biggest disappointment.
Yeah, let's talk about clean.
We broke some. Oh, we will. But for right now, we want to thank everybody
for tuning
in to Twaddling Along.
And by the way, Mom, I love you.
Even if you annoyed Jake. We are off. We are off for next week.
We are?
We are.
Oh, good. I'm not annoyed anymore.
We are off, and it's going to be Memorial Day.
Proper etiquette.
Nice.
Everyone go celebrate those fallen heroes.
Exactly. We will be coming back to history, and I believe that I get to choose that. I have no idea what we're talking about, but it'll be something good. Something
we could
historical.
We could skip it.
We're not going to skip history, Jake.
Damn it.
Jacob. Those who don't learn history are doomed to repeat it.
That annoys me.
I think we should talk about how.
Go ahead, Josh. Try to finish this episode.
I think we should talk about how people just want power, and Queen Victoria was the biggest one.
You want to know what? You want to know an etiquette that annoys me when you don't do it? When you start a sentence and have no idea where you're going with it.
What do you mean?
Do you know what I like? Having the power to stop people that annoy me.